There's so much information out there. It's growing, it's more and more. It's really difficult to weed through so that we're spending time on the right things, right? We'll talk more about how to see the signal through the noise and how to get there on the webinar on August 6th. I think the biggest challenge is that there's so much information out there. It's really hard to see the right things. You spend a lot of time weeding through it. So I'll talk more about this to how to see the signal for the noise and how to get there in the webinar. Really, there's an imbalance between technology, people, and the skill sets that are required to do this. We'll delve into this a lot more in the webinar. It's really an exciting thing, and it's really critical that we get this right. I get asked this question all the time by clients. It's a really difficult thing. And really, it's really all about an imbalance between technology, people, and the skill sets that are required to do so. We'll talk a little bit more about this in the webinar. I think it's a couple of things. The user is expected to know what's relevant, right? And oftentimes, unless you study data science, you're really left with a so what kind of feel, right? Also, there's too much of the wrong information. You see this line level detail, and it's difficult to weed through. So the real question is it worth our time to really weed through it? I am super passionate about this. This is the most misunderstood thing is that data is dynamic. It is constantly changing, right? And so when that happens, there's going to be blanks, missing data, errors thrown, right? And oftentimes users and clients think, the data people don't know what they're doing, then they lose trust. So to understand the dynamic nature of data and automation don't really mix, that there's a step in there of validation, then this topic is one of my biggest passions. Oftentimes, the users don't understand that data is dynamic, meaning that it's always changing. Literally, as we speak, someone is changing something in your system, right? And so then when you upload and you try and pull it all together, there are going to be errors that happen. And there's that perception that something's wrong and people aren't paying attention. But instead, if we change the culture to understand the dynamic nature of data, then we can work together to get it right every time. I really think it is putting speed before being effective, right? Oftentimes we think we know a solution and we go to the data to try to prove that solution instead of being open-minded and just letting the data take you where it takes you. And you'll be surprised oftentimes what the result will be. It's going to be a really good discussion in our webinar to talk more about how to do it efficiently and result in effective, relevant, actionable insights. I'm excited to talk about in the webinar, really getting to what the real problems are in our world today. We often use technology and automation in and of itself, and it's exciting. AI is fun and new, but there's a real purpose in how to use it effectively. And most importantly, our whole purpose is to affect change, right? To influence decisions using facts. So if we can leverage technology, AI, automation in a way that will assist us in doing that, we'll be way above all of our competitors. What I was thinking about when you were describing that is why I got into it, right? And kind of like the assumptions in IT, math, and science. It's that it's black and white, it's very boring, and very, methodical, right? Which it can be, but I was pleasantly surprised to learn the creativity that comes into what we do, right? There are a million solutions. There's a million different ways to come at a problem. And then, the most creative way that will give you the quickest answers, the right answers, then to visualize it is so creative. And that's what really makes it fun, right? And then you layer on top of that, working in the industry that we're in, where you're employing people, you're changing people's lives, right? And so you have the ability to help companies identify the right person for their culture, right? And that feels good to get people into jobs that they love and companies to have the people who are going to be rock stars on their staff, right? So data, technology, all of that, I had preconceived notions of why would I want to do that? It's so boring, so, technical, but I love the creative side of what we do, and it's a lot more than I ever dreamed it would be.